Hi, this is Ron Ball. Welcome again to Choose Greatness, your keys to a happier life. Continue to tell as many people as possible about this program. We want to build a giant audience. And I'll tell you why. I believe in my heart that if you can learn these principles of a great life, if your children can learn them, if your friends, if everybody you know can learn how to have a great life for the glory of God, we can have a spiritual explosion in this country and all over the world. Why? Because people will be attracted to dynamic, healthy Christians, full of energy, full of excitement, full of commitment, and full of enthusiasm because they're living a great life. Now, for the last few weeks, I have been dealing with all of these principles having to do with having superabundant energy. Remember what I've said on an earlier show, you cannot function without energy. You cannot do great things without energy. You can't be great without energy. Energy fuels, propels, pushes everything. And it's so much fun to realize that God has given you the practical principles required to have that level of superabundant energy. Now, I'm going to tell you about this information quickly. I'll say it again at the end, but remember, you can go to choosegreatness.com, choosegreatness.com, and you can download the special audio set entitled How to Have Superabundant Energy. It's much more information than I'm able to do on the program. It is all my research organized in a simple, powerful way that can help people unlock their superabundant energy every single day. I'm excited for you because this can really work for you. So I hope you go do that today. Now, what do you need to still learn about superabundant energy? Well, what I want to do today is teach you how to turn on your energy, how to flip certain energy switches that can give you a quick burst, a quick jump, a quick surge of energy. Let's say you're going through the day, you're at work or you're at school or even at church on a Sunday, and you just run out of gas, you just run out of steam. Well, are there ways to give yourself a quick jump without having to take an artificial substance, without having to do some drug or something? Is there a way you can actually flip a switch and give yourself a jump, a surge, an increase of energy? Well, the answer to that really is yes, yes, and yes. It's very exciting. Now, I want to begin with research done by Dr. Harold Bloomfield, medical doctor. Dr. Harold Bloomfield, medical doctor. He has come up with some fascinating information that will help you turn on your energy switches. Just flip the switch and get that surge going, because sometimes, am I right, you need it. I mean, some of you moms, God bless you. I love my mom so much. She's 86, grew up on a farm, outworks everybody. My mom looks, you're not going to believe me on this, most people think my 86-year-old mother, and I've asked them, most people think she's in her late 40s, maybe 50. Most people think my mother is that young. She's 86. She has natural black hair. It's amazing from our American Indian Cherokee background in my family. My great-great-great-grandmother was a full-blood Cherokee. So I think that's why Mom has such great black hair. But she also outworks everybody. She's very fit, eats great, just very happy, loves Jesus, and everybody loves my mom. Well, think about this. Some of you are moms, and you are so occupied with your family. You're trying so hard. God bless you. And I really mean that, because we all love our moms and respect them, and you deserve respect. But what happens as a mom if you just lose your energy level? What happens if you slump? Well, you don't want to slump, because what if your kids need you? What if your husband needs your support that day? What are you going to do? Well, these energy switches can work for you. They're just little ways, little techniques that will help you get through the day. Now, what is this called again? It's how to have what? Super abundant energy. The audios that teach all this, I'm just giving you a few techniques from that series, but these are some of the most important ones. how to turn on your energy switches. Now, according to Dr. Harold Bloomfield, medical doctor, researcher, he said there are certain things he's found that give people quick surges, quick jumps of abundant energy in the course of an ordinary day. The first thing he recommends is to arrange in your life what he calls a power place. A power place. He said you should find some corner of a room, maybe a place in your yard if you have a nice outdoor climate, somewhere that you associate with happiness, somewhere that you connect to feeling good, somewhere that just makes you feel great the moment you're there. Maybe it's a particular place in your home where you just feel energized when you're there. He calls it a power place. Now, when I read his research, I thought, wow, that really applies to Christians because we need power places where we meet God. So your power place may be your private, personal place of prayer. A number of years ago, when I worked with Dr. Charles Stanley, I was his preaching assistant for 5 years at the First Baptist Church of Atlanta, Georgia. And while I was there, I was so captivated and challenged by Dr. Stanley's prayer life. He had a big office. This is when the church was on Peachtree Street in downtown Atlanta. It's no longer at that location, but it was an old, beautiful church building. And my whole responsibility during those 5 years was just to preach when he was away. Great time in my life. Now, I noticed that off Dr. Stanley's study was what looked like literally a closet. And I asked one day if I could take a look. He said, sure. So I opened the door. It's just a small door built into the wall and a curved wall. So it looked like it's part of the curved part of the wall. But there's a little catch. You could open it. So I open it and this door swings out. And here's this small room. It's very long, very narrow. And there was a blanket on the floor, an old, worn, used Bible, and a light. That was it. And I said, what's this? And he said, this is my prayer place. Sometimes when I worked with him, he would spend 8 hours in there just seeking God. No wonder there was such phenomenal power in his life. I remember visiting the last home of John Wesley in England. And we did a tour of his private quarters. And I was just walking along. It was a beautiful day in England. My family was with me. I love the British Isles anyway. I love going over there. We're walking along, and there's this one little place, this one little chamber, just a small, tiny little room. And I asked, what's this? And they said, oh, well, that's very special. That's where John Wesley would get up in the morning and spend time alone listening to God, spending time in His presence. Now, John Wesley's been dead for 200 years? But there was still a spiritual power in that place. I could feel it. My wife felt it. My young son even sensed it. There was a power in that place that was still present because God was there and had met with John Wesley. Many historians consider him one of the 5 greatest Christian leaders in human history. And that power was still there. Well, you need a power place, somewhere you can just retreat to for just a moment. You might find a place at work you can do this, just a little place. Go there for 2 or 3 minutes. And you need to associate it with God's presence and God's power and go there and just have a moment of spiritual, emotional refreshment. A place where you know you can reconnect and renew yourself with God's help and God's power at that moment. So Dr. Bloomfield talks about a power place, and what he means is a place that energizes you. Well, I'm expanding and extending what he wrote into the Christian world, into your world, and telling you, make it a place where you have spiritual power and not just human energy, but spiritual power as well. Now, there's also something else in his research that I really like. He said, just make it somewhere you feel happy too. And that can be easily associated with meeting God in a particular place, a power place, but make it happy. Maybe you want to put a picture in there that really inspires you. Maybe you want to use colors that make you happy. Now, I'm one of these crazy people who just wildly loves the color red. I like primary colors. I've got one on right now. I got a green on that's, I think, a primary color. I really like it. It energizes me. Well, my wife likes the same colors I do. We're pretty compatible on pretty much everything. So we put this bright, vivid, great red, fire engine red wallpaper in our bedroom. And our friend said, you can't sleep in a room like that. I don't know. I love it. It makes me feel great. So find what works for you. Find what works for you. And if that, now I'm not saying that will work for you, it may not, but find something and make your power place a place of energy renewal, a place of energy refreshment. Make it fit you, what you need, what makes you happy at that moment. Maybe you want to put an iPad or something in there and maybe have a playlist of songs that just make you feel happy. Maybe some Christian music that just really works for you. But you only need to go there 2 or 3 minutes and it will renew you. That's like a power place, an oasis of power and energy in the course of your day. And that can be an incredible help to you. Try that and see if that energizes you during the day. Now, Dr. Bloomfield, second, says in addition to a power place, he said, based on his medical research, that if you want a surge of energy in the course of the day, then expose yourself to a burst of bright light. Expose yourself to a burst of bright light. He said that light will stimulate your optic nerves. They will surge to your brain. They'll fire a neurological response in your brain. It will wake you up. It will lift you up, and you'll feel energy just kind of power through you for a moment. Now, that's one of his medical techniques, but I like it a lot. I mean, the Bible associates God with light. Jesus said in John 8:12, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. That's a great verse, one of my favorites. Jesus is the light of the world. But light is energy. Light is energy. And so I think Dr. Bloomfield, whether he realizes the Christian meaning or not, has actually discovered something. He's discovered that light can actually energize you. So if you're going through the course of a day and you're having an energy slump and an energy drop, you're just kind of flat, well, try his suggestion. Do an energy drop, energy burst of light. Do an energy burst. I mean, find yourself just lifted by a burst of light. Maybe you can do it. You say, well, how can I do it? Well, I'll tell you what I did to test this. I waited until I was having kind of a slow day, and I was trying to pray and trust God. But I physically, emotionally, I just hit a wall. And so this is what I did. This is what I did. And you're going to love this. I went into a dark room with no light, middle of the afternoon, went to a dark room, turned all the lights off. And I waited a couple of minutes until my eyes, were just, adjusted to the darkness. And then I turned all the lights on. Bing, bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Turn the lights on, and I just let them blaze at me for about 20, 30 seconds, and I turned them off, waited about a minute, did it again, and I walked out of that room on fire. It worked for me. Now, will it work for you? Try it. I'm giving you energy switches, little things that can help you during the day as you're serving God and serving your family and going to work and helping your kids, doing your Bible study, going to church. If you hit a wall, kabam, hit a wall, maybe this light therapy could help you. It's according to Dr. Harold Bloomfield. He's tested it. He said it works. It worked for me. Will it work for you? Try it out. See if it helps you. So he talks about this burst of light, okay? Number three, he says, try a fresh wind or breeze in your face. These are what he calls energy switches. He said, you're going slow, you're getting sluggish, you're kind of feeling slumpy. Well, okay. He says, get a burst of air in your face. The Bible talks in the Old Testament of ruach, which is Hebrew for the breath of God. Sometimes you need an oxygenated breath as well, something that just kind of refreshes you. That's why people go outside, take a quick walk, and get some, you've heard them say it, some fresh air. Have you ever said that? Let's go get some fresh air. Well, the reason it refreshes you is that your body and your brain lives on oxygenated blood flow. It lives on that. And so God made you like this. Now remember, everything I'm saying is based on God's creation. That's what excites me. That's what I love about it. It's based on God's creation. You are God's creation. I mean, God didn't make your soul and spirit and then let the devil make your body. I mean, God made the body too. God created you. He created Adam and Eve. And by the way, I do believe, this won't surprise any of you, I believe Adam and Eve are real people, historical figures who lived in a real garden at a real place in history. It's all real. It's all true. I believe that intellectually, spiritually, I just believe it's true. And I believe there's evidence for that. That's another story. But let me say this. God chose to put Adam and Eve in bodies. He chose to give them physical form. He chose to give them internal organs. He chose to give them a brain that needed oxygen and oxygenated blood. God chose all of this. He selected all of this. He did all of this. It's the way we were meant to be because God made us like that. So these physical things that help you, like the burst of air, the flash of light, the power place, all these are actually physical things, but they help you emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Why? Because you're a complete package. You're not just one or the other. You're a whole person. And what affects part of you affects the rest of you. I just don't want to see any more discouraged, depressed, defeated Christians. Now, often you're defeated by sin and by disobedience to God, and that's a whole different matter. But you also don't want to be defeated by things you could correct emotionally or physically. Things the devil knows can slow you down, and he uses that against you. He uses it to affect you spiritually. And so I want to use Dr. Bloomfield's techniques to help you right now. So there's the fresh air, the wind in your face, just the movement of air that just refreshes you and picks you up and makes you feel good. So those are the first three of his techniques. Here's another one, 5 minutes of muscular movement. Now, I talked about aerobics and exercise and all these chemicals released in your blood and all that at the last show, things that aerobic exercise, the benefits that are created by them. But listen to this. 5 minutes of muscular movement. I love the way Dr. Bloomfield puts that. 5 minutes of muscular movement. Anybody can do that. Now, if you're incapacitated, if you can't move well, if your weight's a problem, I mean, there are a lot of reasons maybe you can't do that. And I'm not criticizing you or telling you to do something your doctor wouldn't tell you to do. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. But listen to this. 5 minutes of muscular movement. Why don't you just get up and go try it? Get up and go try it. I saw a commercial on TV just this last week for a particular, I won't say who they are because I'm not trying to advertise for them, but it was a particular brand of, a particular approach to losing weight. It was a diet program for men. And it gave all these men before and after pictures. You know, I've lost 40 pounds, I've lost 60 pounds. And I really like, from an advertising perspective, I really like the way they ended the commercial. They ended the commercial by saying, put down the pie and pick up the phone. That was very clever. Well, 5 minutes of muscular movement may be easier than you think. And it may be a beginning, a launch pad for your rocket to go off. Just get up and move around. Muscles are made of fibers, and they're made for movement. God made you for movement. You're fearfully and wonderfully made by God. What a great verse. I've used it throughout this whole series. You're fearfully, wonderfully made by a creator God. And so there are ways to maximize the body you inhabit. There are ways to maximize who you are. And 5 minutes of muscular movement can be a great energy trigger in your life, okay? So there's the go to your power place, the burst of light, the movement of air in your face, just to kind of give you that breath, that moment of renewal. There's the 5 minutes of muscular activity. Number 5, Dr. Bloomfield says you need an engaging, fragrant scent. Now, there's an institute in Chicago, I've read their research, that does nothing but investigate the power of smells on the human mind and the human brain. I mean, there's some things that are so positive. The smell of lilacs help people go to sleep, for example. Women especially love the smell of vanilla, and that was very refreshing for them. all of these different fragrances, this institute in Chicago, and I've got their research, all they were doing was investigating how smells affected the mind and affected your attitude and affected your energy level. Well, what Dr. Bloomfield says as a medical doctor is find an engaging scent that makes you feel good, makes you feel great, and use that scent and use that to give yourself just a moment. Now, what I recommend people I work with in business, because they're always, I work with a lot of sales companies trying to teach them sales techniques, and I always do it from a Christian perspective, and I tell all these companies I speak for that I'll do it, but I want a moment to give a witness for Jesus Christ. Some of them are a little bit, skeptical of that, but they all let me do it, and I get invited back, so God must be blessing that. So, for example, I went to a company in Brooklyn owned by a Jewish family, and almost everybody in the company was Jewish. And I thought, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, God, you gave me this open door. I need to honor Jesus. So I did. And I lifted up Jesus Christ and honored Him. And I remember all these wonderful, precious, sweet Jewish people. God bless them. I love them. They came up to me and said, you know what? We love it that you lifted up Jesus as your Savior, because we really honor people who have a belief system they believe in. And God gave me a great relationship. I got back invited to that company 4 years in a row. And I still have a great relationship with them and still do seminars for them. What I'm saying is God has given you ways to increase your energy so you can lift up Jesus. And it may be that just taking a moment to get a fresh scent will help you. Well, let me tell you what I told some of those people in that company. I was telling you that for a reason, by the way. I didn't forget why I was doing it. I just recommend this to different sales people because they're trying to keep up their performance level to sell things. I mean, that can be pretty demanding sometimes. So I tell them to find a scent they like and go find a car air freshener. A car air freshener of the scent that makes them feel happy and energetic, and put it in a little slip of plastic, maybe a little, one of these little bags you use at the airport to put your toiletries in, zip it up so it retains the fragrance. And when you need just a moment of energy uplift, you just need some of this, just kind of zip open that bag, take a whiff of it, and see if that happy scent energizes you. Dr. Bloomfield thinks that it will. And so that's another thing. Now, 2 more things Dr. Bloomfield talks about on his list of energy triggers that just give you a little bit of jump in the course of the day. Another thing he talks about is accelerated learning. Accelerated learning. He said, this is what he means. He said, if you will force yourself to take something that's written, and this is what his brain research has found. If you will force yourself to take something that's written down, and you will make yourself speed read it. And you say, well, I don't know how to speed read. I don't even like to read. Well, just try this technique anyway. Take that page. This is so cool. Take that page and just make yourself focus on that page for about a minute and go through it really fast, really fast, really fast, and then see what you can remember off that page. You may be surprised. What Dr. Bloomfield found was that because you're doing something different you don't normally do, you're actually firing neurons in your brain that you don't normally fire. And because of that, there's this surge of energy. Your brain is actually energized for a moment and you feel better. It just gives you that jump that you might need to get through the rest of your day. See, all of this is drug-free. All of this is just interesting techniques that just give you a pump and a push. It just helps you be better, better, better. And remember, what did I say earlier? I want you to be a great advertisement for Jesus Christ. I want people to look at you and say, wow, if they're Christians, I want to be like them. And then you can tell them about Jesus. You'll have the energy to serve God your whole life. God, I believe, didn't put you here to just slump through life, to drag yourself along. Here's the last thing. Dr. Bloomfield says, if you want energy, laugh. Read something funny. Look at something humorous. Now, I'd recommend clean humor. You won't be surprised by that. I don't want you to hurt yourself spiritually, but do something that just makes you feel happy, that makes you laugh. Proverbs 22:7 says that a cheerful heart does good like a medicine. A cheerful heart, a cheerful spirit, a cheerful moment, a cheerful attitude just pumps your heart up with positive wonderful, happy energy. And wouldn't you rather be like that? I used to work with a man named Zig Ziglar. I used to travel some with him and speak. And Zig was a great motivational speaker. I mean, just one of the best ever. And he wrote all these books about sales and performance and motivation. But my favorite book of Zig's was entitled Confessions of a Happy Christian. I love that. Confessions of a Happy Christian. If you can have moments of laughter, moments of happiness, that may be the best energy trigger of all. And that's part of the reason I'm so excited about the opportunity to have you experience this level of super energy. And that's why I'm also excited about the opportunity for you to get this information. Now, I told you in the beginning I was going to circle back to this, so here I go. You need to learn these techniques if you ever want to master them. And the best way you can do that is to spend time learning the right kind of information. So I want to recommend, again, that you go to choosegreatness.com. Very simple, choosegreatness.com. You can see the name Choose Greatness on your screen. Choosegreatness.com. And order the downloadable package entitled How to Have Super Abundant Energy. All this information is in there, plus more, a lot more that I have no time for. So go to choosegreatness.com. There's a lot there. There's a whole collection of success information that I teach high-performance companies that have adapted to Christians that can make you better with your money, your marriage, everything. But just go to choosegreatness.com and download the special audio package, How to Have Super Abundant Energy. Do it today. God bless you. I'm excited. I'll see you on the next show.